Let's look at variable scope. What is scope? Scope refers to where you can use a particular variable that you've declared. Imagine if every variable in every program you've written could be seen in every other program. That wouldn't work. You'd have no variable names left to use. Not to mention, you'd be extremely confused when you changed the value of a particular variable and it broke a different program. In Java, a variable scope is everywhere inside the innermost code block that the field is declared. Up until now, that was inside the innermost code block of our skeleton code. That's why you can refer to a variable by name after it's declared anywhere in your program. However, now that we have other code blocks in our program in the form of if statements, we need to consider scope more carefully. Now let's look at 3 code examples. In this first example, we see a is set equal to 3 and a test to see if a is greater than 1. And in this if is our if block. So we have curly brackets that define the block for the if statement. And inside of the if block, we have int b declared and assigned a first value of 6. But once the block is ended by this closing curly bracket, we can no longer use b, it is out of scope. The above would cause a compile time error. The reason is that b's scope is only inside of the if statement's code block. It can't be used outside of the block where it was defined. In this next example, we have the same if statement and b is declared inside, but we have a nested if. Inside the nested if, we have access to b. B is still in scope because remember, the nested if statement is still inside of this outer if block where b is declared. We can use it here and we can print it. But once we leave the block where b is defined, then we lose scope. Note where b is declared, its scope is inside of the outer if statement only. The second print statement will not work. Let's look at a last code example. Here we have 2 if statements, but they're not nested inside of each other. The first one tests if a is greater than 1, and we declare b and assign it a 0. Then we can print b. Once we reach the end of this block, the first b loses its scope, and we hit another if statement. Here we test if a is equal to 3. Then we can declare b, and it's okay to declare b again because the previous b is out of scope. There's no overlapping scope, so we can use b twice. While you may think that the above would cause an error because b is being redeclared, it's actually fine. The 2 b variables' scope does not overlap. I hope you've learned what scope is and how to manage it in your program. Thanks for watching.